This is the Volkswagen Atlas Peak Edition, a design inspired by the Atlas Base Camp concept from way back in 2019. And it's a new appearance package for the 7-seat Atlas midsize SUV that's designed to look like it can drive on the wild side. So today I'm going to test it both on and off-road and try not to get stuck. So the special edition soft road trend continues with many manufacturers. Honda has the Trailsport and Toyota has the RAV4 TRD. And now we have the VW Atlas Peak Edition. Problem here is it doesn't have skid plates and it doesn't have any increased ground clearance. So what have they done to distinguish this one from the rest of the Atlas family? It has this more rugged grille, some of this sort of silver underbody cladding here, and then this blacked out X across there. All models now get LED adaptive headlights as well. Peak Edition also gets these blacked out door mirrors and new badging, which includes this really cool Peak Edition on each of the doors. This is probably my favorite feature. Blacked out roof rails are now standard. At the back, the name strip is now blacked out, if you can see through the dust here. Atlas, VW badge up there. And then down below you get this more aggressive plastic section right here, and then these exhaust diffusers, which are fake. So one of the biggest changes are these 18-inch painted aluminum wheels wearing these Continental cross-contact all-season tires. They're 255/60s all around. So the Atlas comes with VW's 4Motion system that uses an advanced electronic clutch system to let those wheels rotate and the front wheels power the vehicle in everyday driving. Even when it's not engaged, the 4Motion system measures the wheel speed multiple times a second, looking for signs of wheel slip. The 4Motion software has been designed to engage before the vehicle's front wheels lose traction. We'll check that out later. The electronically controlled clutch can engage in a fraction of a second, sending up to 50% of the engine's power to the rear axle as needed. But if an individual wheel begins to slip, the ESC can slow it down, sending more power to the wheel on the opposite side with traction. So the only option under the hood is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, good for 269 horsepower. 273 foot-pounds of torque, driven through an 8-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60 takes around 7.3 seconds, and if you're careful, you should see around 25 miles to the gallon on the highway, good for around 500 miles of range. On this SE model, you get a powered tailgate with approximately 20 cubic feet of space behind the third row and a couple of bins in either side for storage. And then under here is your spare wheel. So if you put these seats down, you get 55 cubic feet of space. If you put all the seats down, including the captain's chairs, you get around 97 cubic feet of space. Easy to put down. 1, 2, done. Pretty flat load for, obviously if you have the rear bench it's going to be flatter, but this one's got the captain's chairs, so there is a bit of a gap in the middle, but yeah, it is enormous. And then getting these back up, pretty straightforward. Simply pull on that and the same there. So getting into the back seat's pretty straightforward. You simply tip that one forward a little bit, push it forward on the rails. Pretty big gap to get in. And then once you're in and you put the rear headrest up, it's not too bad. Your knees aren't too skywards. There's plenty of room behind this chair. This one could go a little bit further back. Not bad seating here. Obviously only room for 2 here and then 2 there. So this is a 6-seater, not a 7, but pretty good. Get a little bit of storage space on either side, cup holders, and your own vents. So in the second row, a little bit more room, definitely tons of leg room, and this seat's quite a long way back. Decently comfortable, little armrest, You've got a little shade right here for when it gets too hot, plenty of headroom, vents, controls for your heat and cold, and then also 2 USBs and a 115 volt as well. And then a couple of little handy things in the back of each of these chairs for stuff. So how much is it? Well, this is an SE trim. They start at $48,455, under $50,000. This gray is $395. I'm a little bit tired of gray cars, but whatever. And then those captain's chairs are $695. So your total price, including destination, is $49,995. So Volkswagen got some criticism over their previous interiors, and so they've jazzed this up, and I think it really works. These seats are the sort of leatherette style, decently comfortable, and they're both heated and cooled on all models, and you also get a heated steering wheel as standard on all models, so no need to pay extra money for the SEL now. Leather covered steering wheel as well, mountains of this piano black, which I don't like, but all in all, the quality and the soft feel plastics feel really, really good. So they've jazzed up the seats on this model with some orangey red stitching, these gray accents. On the dash you get this sort of really cool looking texture, more piano black along here. On the steering wheel you get another Peak Edition logo. And then on this section, you can't see it now, but when it's dark, depending on what ambient lighting color you've chosen, it will show up as Peak Edition written out in lettering. Head of the driver, you get VW's version of a digital cockpit and also Peak Edition right there. And this one shows you how far above sea level you are, miles an hour, but obviously you can change this. You can change your views. I like to have miles an hour in the middle. You can also go over to the left-hand side and you can show different things like average speed, gear display, fuel tank, temps, etc. On the other side, you can go ahead and can change to show speed, acceleration, start, stop, all that good stuff. I leave it on time. And then I've got my tachometer right here and my speed right here and my speed in the middle. And then here you get VW's new infotainment system, which is mostly button free, which is mostly annoying. The only problem I have with it really is the slidey temperature controls on either side and the sliding volume control in the middle. It's really difficult to modulate while you're driving. Below that, flanked on either side by 2 vents, you've got a couple of controls here, climate mode and your assist system. So if you click on that one, you get a picture of how far the car is in front of you. Click on there and you can go into everything in here, lane keep assist, ACC, lane change, front assist, emergency assist, all sorts of assist systems in that particular menu. The one I care about most though is the mode button. We've got snow, we've got off-road, custom, sport, comfort, and eco mode. Underneath here you get some storage space, including a wireless charging pad, nice sort of rubberized area here as well, and then 2 USBs. Here's your funny little gear selector, parking brake, 2 decent cup holders, a little bit of space here that you can put your phone in, and then a really nice large storage space under the armrest with a USB. So this is actually a pretty nice car. I'm impressed with it so far. Now we did a little bit of on-road driving earlier. I'll show you that footage right now. All right, so testing it on the street, I'm first of all very impressed with these Continental Cross contacts. Obviously more rubber between the car and the road, and they ride really nicely. This has got typical Germanic, quite firm suspension, which doesn't really help it a lot off-road. We'll see that footage later on, but it's actually fairly smooth and quite comfortable. Now I do have it in comfort mode right now, and I must say the more powerful 4-cylinder engine is much, much better. I drove a Cross Sport with this same engine a while ago, and I came away pretty impressed. I think it's good enough that I really don't miss the V6, which was struggling for torque, and it was a little bit noisy, and it really didn't do too well on fuel economy. Put it into S mode, foot down. It goes pretty well. Doesn't roll too much. behaves itself for a large vehicle quite well. Now, obviously, with, you know, 6 people in this one, or 7 with the rear bench, plus luggage, it's obviously not going to be as quick. Now, I have tried sport mode, and it definitely sharpens everything up. Let's stick it into sport mode right now. Makes the steering a little bit heavier, but not a whole lot. A little bit more aggressive, and you can sort of hear that cool sounding exhaust. It actually sounds pretty good. It's like having a mini Golf R engine. Definitely believe it's 0 to 60 in around 7.3 seconds. And the torque that kicks in, it's got what, 273 foot-pounds of torque that kicks in really low down, which is something that the V6 couldn't do. So you had to kind of rev it a little bit, and it wasn't particularly pleasant. Brakes are pretty good too. So, a little bit uphill. Revs to about 6,500 RPM. It's definitely got some go. Now, I will hang on to the gears a little bit in sport mode, but it handles pretty good for a bus. Steering's light, you can't really feel what the front wheels are doing, but you know, you really don't need to in this kind of car. In fact, the fact that the steering is quite light helps us out a lot more when we're off-road.
A few moments later.
All right, let's head down this little section here. Firm. Okay, we're in off-road mode. It rides kind of firm. Specifically take some of these bigger dips here. See how it does. Again, we've got to be careful because we don't have a whole lot of ground clearance. A little bumpy, a little rocky down here. Pretty big dip right here. Scraping yet. Oh, and we've got some hill descent control. Look at that. Continuing down here, it flattens out a little bit further. So far, so good. Of course, we are going downhill, which is always a little easier. But yeah, so hill descent control's kicking in. No buttons or anything else to press. You can hear it. I do see a very large puddle down there. That was slightly impressive, I must say. All we need to do now is turn around and go back the other way. Okay, so apparently the rocky stretch that I wanted to go on has been smoothed out, assuming by the Border Patrol. So we're going to go up this incline here. It's short, it's rocky, we've done it before in some other vehicles, but it's a pretty good test to see how the all-wheel drive system is working. We're going to go slow so we can see where the traction is being applied to the wheels. Can't really see a whole lot. Wow. Let's see see, this is the bit where some cars struggle. I'm going really slowly. A little bit of gas. And there you go. So it really isn't necessarily about the off-road systems. It's the tires. All right, let's go down. Let's see how it controls the descent. Like, it was using a little bit of hill descent on that last hill that we came down. Okay. Let's go down here. So chances are it's going to pick up that rear wheel as we go down. There it goes. Whoa! Teeter-tottering a little bit. This one seems to be doing it more than others. Now I just got to make sure that we're okay. We're pretty close at the front. Make it slow. It's a decent sized rock. I'm having to use the brakes too because the hill descent isn't really helping me out. It's kicking in a little bit, and there's a bit of a rock there. And we just sort of bounce over it. Gently does it. And we're down. This does a pretty good job, I must say. I'm impressed with the way it went up there. Again, it's more probably the tires, but the all-wheel drive system was definitely shuffling torque to get it up that little incline. Well done. So what do we think? Well, the 2024 VW Atlas Peak Edition is primarily an appearance package. Just these wheels, really, and a few little badges here and there. Yes, it's pretty decent off-road, but it needs skid plates and it needs more ground clearance. It's a really acceptable car on-road too, and it can carry an enormous amount of people and luggage. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video.